In this video, I'll be going over from my experience and things I've learned from others on what I should have been doing since I started playing. I'm It's Eliminate, and this is what I recommend in doing when you start playing Wuthering Waves. I started playing the game last summer, but only got into it just before the new year. So I've kinda cheated on Zone Zero, and yeah, I'm not proud of it. Bear in mind, I'm not the most OG or best of the game, but if you do decide to play a new gacha game that isn't something like Enfield, then I will prepare you for something like WUWA. I know this video will be longer than my usual stuff, but please people, I need this. My videos are kind of viewless. So, let's go over some basics and summary of how the game works. Starting with Resonators. Resonators are playable characters of the game. There are currently 43 Resonators in the game, and with 3 more to come in the future. The common way to obtain a Resonator is by obtaining them in the Convene page, either with Convene items like Lustrous Tides or Radiant Tides, which are the more premium version. You're guaranteed a 4-star Resonator every 10 convenes, and a 5-star Resonator every 80 convenes. You already start out with a 5-star in the game called Rover, who is the main character of the story, but isn't the greatest if I'm honest. Then during certain updates or patches, the Convene page will have featured banners to get a limited time Resonator. However, there is a 50-50 whether you get the featured Resonator or one of the non-featured ones, and it will reset your guarantee count anyways. So yeah, like any other gacha game, you're pretty much gambling. Resonators will have 2 categories each of something, which are the attributes, aka their elements, and their weapon classes. There are 6 attributes, which are Fusion, Glacio, Aero, Electro, Spectro, and Havoc. The weapon classes are Sword, Broadblade, Pistol, Gauntlet, and Rectifier. With Rover, they're a Sword Resonator and can switch between Spectro, Aero, or Havoc. The monster-like enemies in WUWA are known as Tacit Discords, or TDs for short. They rank into classes of their danger and strength, which are Common, Elite, Overlord, or Calamity class. Overlord and Calamity classes will be marked in specific areas of whatever map you play on, so don't worry on coming across one. Keep in mind that ones that have a red aura are significantly buffed and will have an extremely high level. I've experienced going against some, and if you're not good at the combat, you will get one shot. After defeating a Tacit Discord, there's a chance a gold silhouette appears, which is their lingering frequency, and you can absorb them to add your Echo collection for further use. It's basically catching Pokemon, except no Pokeballs. When an Echo is added to your collection, you can equip them to one of your Resonators. This allows them to use an Echo ability which they either transform into, or the Echo itself just deploys. Wow, it really is like Pokemon. And they even have some Yu-Gi-Oh! R event a while back, which quite frankly makes me crash out. Also, certain enemies will have a resistance to certain attributes. Then there's Astrite. Astrite is the common premium currency that you use to buy Lustrous, Fortune, or Radiant Tides. You can farm Astrite either by doing quests, events, free roam the map to find chests, and just pretty much achieving whatever you can. I mean, there's not much to Astrite except it's something you should farm for in the game if you want something from the new banners. Okay, the first thing to do is to simply play the story. I've been spending over 2 months when I was only halfway through Huanglong quests, and I still have tons of side quests to do, but I guarantee you doing as much of the main story will benefit your progress. You'll get Astrite and unlock new areas and events which will just so happen get you more Astrite. And not only that, but you can collect new Echoes and come across new bosses and receive new mechanics. But you could be a cheeky bugger like me and somehow go around the rest of the map when they give early access. Okay, my first ever featured Resonator I pulled in the game was Cartathea when she was first released, and somehow crazily, I got her after 10 pity. Although she's a top tier DPS character, I didn't think ahead for her because I didn't care much for the game at the time. I should have been focused on pulling for her weapon or other Resonators she would have worked well with, like Jacona, because the buffs and stat improvements they provide will make a massive difference. That's why I pulled for Yuno just before this update. I already had Linnea and Augusta who were suitable in a team with her, and another reason why I pulled Yuno is because she could be a great DPS or support character. That's my other reason.
Present your offering. Taste my resolve.
I really wonder who animates these. Also, maybe I should have considered pulling for Morny then, but in that last 8 hours of her banner, 20 pity wasn't enough. I should have also known this for a while, but in case you don't have any common sense like me, then let me help. When it comes to building the resonators, every bit counts. I've already talked about the weapons and they're pretty self-explanatory, but having signature weapons, like I said, will make a massive difference. I haven't been able to pull one myself yet, so I've used the best alternatives I could get, but some stats will just be better on the signatures. Especially if you have Cartathea like me, or other Sentinel resonators like Jinchi or the new one, Amith, because resonators like these have quite a picky kit. And when it comes to equipping echoes, they all count. At first it seems like only the main echo is used, but the sub-echoes actually contribute to stat increases too, and work like disk drives in ZZZ. I just never realised because it was presented differently. However, although you can modify the echoes for a certain main stat, you can't select a certain substat, and if you had the item called a transducer, it only re-rolls a substat on your echo. Echoes will also have something called a sonata effect, and having certain amount of echoes with this will grant the resonator an effect on their stats. Usually I'd go with what sonata effect they suggest using, but certain sonatas focus on certain stats like Moonlit Cloud for energy regen, so do what you must. Most of the time, an echo set should have a 4-cost echo as your main one, which is usually an Overlord or Calamity class, then 2 3-costs and 2 1-costs. Usually, the 1-cost echoes will be the 2-piece set for a different sonata. With resonator abilities, some of them highly prioritize something like their basic attack or their forte circuit. Depending on whose skills you're upgrading, I'd look at some recommended guides for them. Finally, when building resonators, you'll need to farm a lot of materials. Shocker. In an open RPG game, there'll be lots of different items and essential materials to collect from exploration or fighting TDs and bosses. Modes like fighting the bosses or forgery challenges will consume something called wave plates. They do refresh daily and you can convert other items into wave plates, but be mindful of when you're farming. Yeah, a lot of this is reminding me of Xenozone Zero, but my mind completely went past this similarity. My final tip for you starting out Wuthering Waves is to simply check out build guides for resonators from others, or just their advice on the game and its meta. Like I said, I'm not the best at this game, and there'll be lots of people who know about the team synergies and builds. I've just told you what I should have done as a beginner. Anyways, that's enough of me. If I've missed anything, let me know, and otherwise, thank you for watching. My content is mostly songs nowadays, and a bit of streaming, but I might do something like this again. Who knows? See ya.
Oh, symmetry, you